By the time April 4th ends, something you were never meant to ignore will become impossible to unsee. The Scorpio moon does not bring soft answers. It exposes what has been hidden behind charm, silence, distance, and carefully chosen words. This is the kind of cosmic moment where one missing message, one strange dream, one sudden shift in someone's energy becomes the final piece that tears the veil apart. The truth has been building beneath the surface for weeks, and now the universe is done protecting you from what your soul has already sensed. You must understand what is happening on April 4th. This is not random paranoia. This is not overthinking. This is the sacred collision between your intuition and undeniable reality. Scorpio energy does not whisper for long. It exposes. It penetrates surface stories and reveals the emotional machinery hidden underneath behavior. Silence, promises, and delay. What has been concealed beneath politeness, beneath mixed signals, beneath your own desire to believe the best, begins to show its true shape. This is the cosmic moment where the mirror no longer flatters, it reflects. For many of you, this energy will feel like a storm building behind the eyes. Not necessarily panic, but intensity, a pressure in the chest. Strange stillness before a realization lands. You may wake from sleep carrying a dream that feels too symbolic to ignore. You may suddenly remember a conversation and realize the meaning was never in the words, but in what was carefully avoided. The veil tears in these moments, not always through drama, but through clarity. Through that sacred, uncomfortable second, when your soul says, "There it is. This is what I've been sensing all along." Before this moment, life may have felt suspended in emotional fog. You may have been waiting for consistency from someone who kept offering fragments. Waiting for a decision that never fully arrived. Waiting for proof that your loyalty, your patience, your emotional labor was building toward something stable. But the karmic weight of the past few weeks was never punishment. It was preparation. The universe was allowing the illusion to ripen until the truth became impossible to deny. April 4th is the threshold where confusion stops protecting you. The motif for this day is the veil tearing open, and you must let this image live inside the entire experience. Imagine standing before a curtain that has hidden the next chapter of your life. For months, maybe years, you pressed your hands against it, feeling shapes on the other side but never seeing clearly. On this day, the fabric finally splits. The hidden motives, the real intentions, the truth of your own heart. The reason a cycle kept repeating, the deeper lesson beneath the pain. All of it begins crossing from shadow into form. This is where the warning begins. Not every truth that emerges on April 4th will arrive wrapped in comfort. Some of it will sting. Some of it may force you to admit that you stayed too long in a story because it was emotionally safer than uncertainty. Some of you will realize that the silence you excused was actually avoidance. The support you thought you had was conditional. Someone around you has been benefiting from your confusion. Scorpio's medicine is not gentle, but it is sacred. The veil tears so your spirit can stop leaking energy into false realities. Pay attention to your body during this transit because the body often recognizes the truth before the mind agrees. Heaviness in the throat may signal the conversation you've avoided. Tightness in the stomach may reveal the environment your nervous system no longer trusts. Sudden fatigue may be your spirit pulling energy away from what is no longer aligned. You may feel an urge to withdraw, to cancel noise, to sit in silence longer than usual. But do not mistake this for weakness. This is your inner world adjusting. To the moment the veil tears financially, this day carries its own revelation. The hidden truth may not only live in relationships, it may exist in the way you have been valuing yourself. Many of you are about to see where your abundance has been delayed by invisible emotional patterns. Perhaps you have been underpricing your gifts because you feared rejection. Perhaps you remained loyal to work that drains your spirit because it gave the illusion of safety. Perhaps scarcity has been less about numbers and more about an old wound that taught you to settle for less than your worth. On April 4th, the veil tears around money too. You begin seeing exactly where your energy has been feeding. It's timelines that cannot grow with you. This is why the karmic shift in the middle of this transit feels so powerful. The truth is not appearing to break you. It is appearing to correct your direction. There is a difference between pain and misalignment. Pain can still happen inside the right path. Misalignment drains life force. What this day exposes is the pattern, person, belief, or financial choice that has kept your future tied to an expired version of yourself. When the veil tears, destiny can finally breathe. Emotionally, you may notice memories resurfacing with unusual force. Old conversations replaying in sharper detail. Moments you dismissed now carrying an entirely different meaning. This is part of the karmic shift. Scorpio does not simply expose the outer world. It reveals the hidden contracts within you. The places where you betrayed your own knowing to preserve attachment. The moments you called your intuition fear because the truth threatened the future you hoped for. The veil is not only tearing around others, it is tearing around self-deception. This is why April 4th may feel like a mirror held inches from your spirit. You are being shown the exact point where your soul outgrew a chapter your mind kept trying to maintain. The warning here is simple but profound. Do not chase what becomes distant under this sky. Distance itself may be the message. Silence may be the answer. Delays may be divine protection. The veil tears when you stop demanding reassurance from what is. It's already showing you its nature. Relationships become one of the strongest arenas for this cosmic shift. Cancer and Pisces viewers will feel this deeply, but everyone can experience it. You may suddenly recognize that someone's affection has been tied to convenience rather than commitment. That emotional honesty has been replaced by ambiguity. That you have been reading between the lines because the lines themselves were never enough. On April 4th, the universe exposes hidden truth through behavior patterns, not dramatic declarations. A delayed response, a repeated excuse, or a lack of presence during moments that mattered. These become louder than promises. And yet, this is not only about betrayal. For some of you, the hidden truth is beautiful. The veil may tear open to reveal that someone has loved you quietly, consistently, through actions more than words. You may realize that the person who brings calm instead of chaos has been the aligned presence all along. Scorpio does not only expose danger, it reveals depth. It separates obsession from devotion, illusion from soul recognition, intensity from truth. Your health and nervous system are also part of this sacred reckoning. Watch your sleep. Scorpio transits often amplify dream symbolism, especially when the veil motif is active. Repeated dream images of storms, mirrors, torn curtains, bridges, doors, or oceans may carry direct messages from your subconscious. Hydration becomes more important now because emotional processing can feel physically dense. Restlessness at night, pressure in the temples, sudden tears without obvious cause, and waves of exhaustion are all signs that your body is metabolizing a truth your spirit has already accepted. The most important thing you can do during this transit is observe before reacting. Let the veil finish tearing. Do not rush to confront, accuse, confess, or decide in the first emotional wave. Scorpio rewards stillness. The more silent you become, the louder truth becomes. Watch what people do when your energy withdraws. Watch who leans in with presence and who disappears when access is reduced. The veil tears most cleanly when you stop interfering with what reality is trying to show you. For many of you, the hidden truth also concerns your own future path, a dream, business, creative project, or long-term plan may suddenly reveal why it has felt blocked. The blockage was not failure. It was misalignment in timing, partnership, or motive. The universe may now expose the exact reason something stalled, not to punish your hope, but to redirect it toward the version that can actually sustain your rebirth. And this is where the karmic shift deepens. Some cycles are ending not because they were wrong, but because they completed their lesson. April 4th tears the veil between the old identity and the person you are becoming. The version of you that chased certainty is dissolving. In its place emerges someone sharper, calmer, less hypnotized by fantasy, more devoted to truth. This is the beginning of spiritual adulthood, the moment where intuition is no longer a suggestion, but a law you live by. Now the veil is no longer just tearing around the outer world. It is tearing inside you. This is the phase of the transit where the hidden truth stops being an idea and becomes a lived emotional reality. By now, many of you may already feel the shift in your body. The chest feels lighter around certain people and heavier around others. Some conversations suddenly feel effortless, while others now feel like dragging your spirit across broken glass. This contrast is not random. The universe is using sensation as revelation. What once felt familiar may now feel energetically expensive. What once seemed uncertain may now feel like the only place your nervous system can rest. The veil tears. Most profoundly, when your body begins rejecting what your mind was still trying to negotiate. This is the karmic shift at its deepest layer. The cycle ending now is not merely about another person, another job, another phase, or another disappointment. It is about the identity that kept mistaking emotional turbulence for depth. For some of you, this hidden truth is the realization that chaos had become familiar, and familiarity had been confused with destiny. April 4 exposes where you kept returning to storms because calm felt too quiet to trust. But now the veil tears. Around that pattern, you're being shown that peace is not emptiness, stability is not boredom, consistency is not lack of passion. This truth changes everything because it changes what your soul will accept moving forward. The relationship and end. Communication section of this transit is where many viewers will feel the strongest emotional hit. This is especially true for Cancer and Pisces, but Scorpio's influence touches everyone under this sky. If someone has been offering words without action, emotional warmth without follow-through, closeness without commitment, or mystery where honesty should live, April 4th turns their behavior into a mirror. The veil tears through repetition. The same excuse, the same emotional distance, the same cycle of presence and withdrawal now reveals itself as the truth. Not because they finally confessed, but because your spirit can no longer pretend not to know. For some, this revelation may arrive through silence, a message not answered, a conversation avoided, a promised effort that quietly dissolves. You must understand what is happening here. The universe does not always expose truth through confrontation. Sometimes the truth is the absence itself. Sometimes the veil tears in the exact place where someone fails to show up. This is why the warning energy of April 4th is so spiritually serious. What becomes distant under this sky may be showing you where your future no longer lives. But for others, the hidden truth is healing. The veil may tear open to reveal the one-person path, or decision that has quietly remained stable while chaos distracted you elsewhere. You may realize who truly supports your growth by who remains emotionally consistent when you stop performing strength. This is the sacred contrast of Scorpio moon energy. Illusion collapses, but devotion becomes unmistakable. Now let's go deeper into the money and abundance truth, because this section can massively increase retention when narrated with emotional gravity. April 4th exposes where your resources have been tied to false safety. Some of you have remained in work, partnerships, or business structures because they felt predictable, not because they honored your worth. The veil tears around the difference between security and stagnation. A financial opportunity may reveal hidden conditions. A business relationship may expose imbalance. A pattern of overgiving your time, energy, or talent may suddenly become impossible to justify. This is the karmic shift around self-worth. The universe is asking, where have you been funding a reality that no longer believes in your expansion? Is also a powerful day to notice emotional spending patterns. Have you been using purchases, comfort habits, or overworking as a way to numb what intuition already knew? Scorpio reveals the emotional roots beneath money decisions. The truth may be that abundance was never blocked by lack, but by fear of becoming fully visible in your value. When the veil tears here, you stop negotiating against your own growth. Your body, too, becomes part of this rebirth. This transit can create unusual sleep patterns, symbolic dreams, waves of emotional fatigue, throat tightness, jaw tension, and intense nervous system sensitivity. Pisces viewers may especially notice vivid dream messages, while Cancer may feel heaviness in the chest and stomach as emotional truth surfaces. Scorpio may feel it through intensity in the eyes, headaches, or a near-obsessive urge to uncover what has been hidden. None of this should be ignored. The body is translating spiritual truth into sensation. Rest more than usual. Hydrate deeply. Protect your sleep environment. Avoid overstimulation. The veil tears more cleanly when the nervous system is not drowning. In noise now comes the most clickable and emotionally intimate section, the 3 zodiac signs most affected. Scorpio. This truth is deeply personal for you. The moon in your sign places the mirror directly in front of your spirit. The veil tearing open for you may expose a power struggle, a hidden emotional obsession, or a relationship dynamic where control has been mistaken for intimacy. You are being shown where your silence became armor and where your intensity kept you tied to what should have transformed long ago. But this is your rebirth. The truth arriving now is not here to shame you. It is here to restore your self-respect. What you release under the sky makes room for a version of you that no longer confuses mystery with meaning. Cancer, your truth arrives through feeling, not logic, not explanation. The veil tears in your emotional body first. You may suddenly understand the reality of a relationship, family dynamic, or home situation through how your body responds when certain names, places, or conversations arise. The heaviness you have been carrying is not random. It is emotional truth waiting for acknowledgement. This transit asks you to stop protecting other people from the consequences of their inconsistency. The karmic shift for you is choosing emotional honesty over emotional comfort. When the veil tears, your rebirth begins through boundaries. Pisces. This may be the most spiritually intense truth you have faced in months. Illusions you wanted to keep beautiful can no longer survive the light of this transit. The veil tears through dreams, synchronicities, repeated symbols, and the strange knowing that arrives before evidence. Hidden motives, false hope, and projections may all collapse now. But this is not cruelty from the universe. This is grace. Your sensitivity is being upgraded into discernment. The rebirth for you comes through trusting what your spirit already feels, even when your heart wishes the story were different. Now let's move into the actionable guidance section, because this is where the viewer must feel genuinely helped, not just emotionally stirred. On April 4th, do less chasing and more observing. Let people reveal themselves through consistency, not explanations. Have one honest conversation if needed, but only after your emotions settle enough to speak from clarity rather than fear. Journal what your body has been telling you. Write down repeated dreams, emotional triggers, names that keep resurfacing, and the places where your peace disappears. Protect your finances by delaying impulsive decisions for 24 hours. Watch actions over words. If the pattern repeats, treat the repetition as truth. The veil tears to show patterns, not isolated incidents. Spiritually, this is the day to choose reality over fantasy. That may sound harsh, but it is the exact doorway into your next chapter. Rebirth does not begin when life becomes easier. It begins when you stop feeding illusions with your life force. And this is the blessing hidden inside the warning. The universe is not exposing this truth to punish your hope. It is exposing it because your future can no longer be built on what was hidden. The veil tears so your destiny can become visible. The relationship that survives this truth becomes stronger. The career path that remains aligned after this revelation becomes sustainable. The version of you that walks forward from this day carries sharper intuition, cleaner boundaries, stronger self-worth, and a deeper devotion to what is real. So if April 4th feels emotionally intense, remember this. The veil did not tear to destroy your peace. It tore so your soul could finally stop living in borrowed stories. It tore so the wrong, its timeline could collapse. It tore so the truth could become your bridge into rebirth. And what changes now? What leaves now? What becomes undeniable now? Was never meant to follow you into the life that is waiting beyond this threshold. The veil is gone now. Trust what you can finally see.